Alright, we raise up this limp pot. And, you know, generally 4 times the big blind plus 1 per limper, as a general rule, is good to adhere to. He limp flats, and that's his entire stack size. Doubtful he has a queen. We just shove, given his remaining stack size equal to the pot with our overs. And wow, he flopped actually the 73-1 trip queens. And we eat some pretty serious shit here. We were, again, pre-flop 70% ahead of the guy, completely dominated. He flopped the miracle, and yeah. That's poker, guys. 73-1 trips on the king-queen. Bummer. Alright, queensies, raise them up. And down here, guys, when you're playing ring games, you can, of course, you come in here, enter your total pot, the amount to call, your effective stacks, stuff like that, and use this in real-time play. It's also very useful. Here we get a check. We represent the king with our c-bet on the flop. And take it down uncontested. I'll just say a few things at tilt actually right now. Tilt's not necessarily that you just play mindlessly, right? That you, yeah, it's contrary to popular belief. It's not some big, here we're just going to overcall. Ace queen on the button, offsuit, we got position, and we'll see what comes. Tilts, there's all kinds of tilts. There's small tilts, there's big tilts. After 2 checks, maybe they're also in overcards. We take a positional shot here after 2 checks. Yeah, no dice. But yeah, speaking of tilt, you know, feeling frustrated like I am a bit right now. Stuff like this, not really feeling the vibe, not feeling the flow. Maybe you'll find a lot of guys on tilt. It's not a big off the chain kind of explosive kind of tilt, but more they're just calling more. They're chasing draws when they don't have the odds. Stuff like that. Starting to play really wide ranges. Wanting to see a lot of flops. That kind of tilt also exists, right? Kind of a loosey-goosey tilt. There's also the tilt where you feel kind of invincible, and you end up, you know, maybe you're on a big card rush, and you end up pitching back a few hundred big blinds because you think you're going to be able to push guys around, you know, and that's not going to be the case forever. So again, we'll just limp one here with the suited max stretch. And yeah, just be aware of that. Be mindful of your senses, and you know what you're feeling at any given card table, both online and live. And you'll be able to save yourself a lot of cash by doing so. Here we're going to just flop again. This is again 73-1 against if we flop those trips. So now we're going to check versus 2 players and hope that one of these mid stackies give it a shot. And min bet by this guy. And raise. Okay. Now, you can just re-raise this up directly because it is too suited, but I want this guy to, I wanted him to take a shot. And now I am going to push because these guys' stack sizes are smaller than the pot, and I don't want to see another spade here. And if somebody flopped, you know, 7s full of jacks, that would just be hella bad luck, but it could be the case, who knows. He'd probably calm me down if he's got any ace here. So I think we've, you know, with that shove, we're going to knock guys off of flush draws, and we'll get called by any ace, maybe overpair, stuff like that. And we got no problem with also just taking it down with our jack 10 in that spot. So yeah, good result, finally. And here again, baby pair, just raise it up under the gun. And again, yes, you know, limp call is also an option there. Whatever, yeah. Open fold. No, I wouldn't recommend that, but yeah, what to say. Either limp call, depending on the bet size, right? I wouldn't limp call a 4-bet without the odds for it. But yeah, limp call 2-bet, or just raise it up and then call the 3. Stuff like that you can definitely do. Here we're going to play this for pot control and see if the big stack guy, he checks behind us. Ace hits, and again, yeah, not feeling it. This is kind of a bluff and deuce line out of position. He does check, and we take it down with a king. If he had bet there, I would have called that if it wasn't too big of a bet, just to give him the chance to bluff it in position. And yeah, we end up taking it down with a weak king. He check min raises, guys, and you guys remember what check min raise means at the low stakes. It means get the hell out of the pot unless you've got it, and really got it. So another ace king. Wow. And we do exactly the same thing here on the button, both with our strong and weak hands. 3x, 4x, depending on how, whatever you guys choose to do. You can change it up from time to time. Again, from the small, a lot of guys are going to raise it up, one, maybe two big blinds more than usual to compensate for the out of position disadvantage post flop. And again, with jacks, guys, you're going to see overcards on just over 50% of all flops. We'll make a C bet here. I like turtles. Oh, he's tripled up in a bit. He's doing well. And yeah, he flats us. Again, this guy looks like a better player. I've also got him yellow tagged here from before. And I've got to believe it here, out of position. He should definitely bet this as a float line. What you can also do is, if you think he's a better player, right, a savvier player, you can also check raise this, knowing that he is probably floating you. Problem is when he flats, and the kings, any king, any ace is definitely on his list, and our jacks, I think, are pretty much toast there. So we let that go versus a guy, wow, another pair of aces, versus a guy that could also, take us downtown for 100 big blinds plus. All right, we get called here. Nothing really to protect against. Just make a half pot bet. He flats, and now I shove. Pot to effective stack ratio is more or less 1 to 1. I get re-raised by this guy, and I'm not going to flat that. So we shove here, and he lets it go. And again, I'm not shoving my stack size. It may look a bit absurd to a lot of players there, especially relatively new recreational players. I was actually pushing his stack size, which was more or less 1 to 1 with the pot. Here we flop absolutely nothing. If this were two suited, I would definitely opt for the float line. My spidey senses are saying get out of there, so I'm not going to float. Basically, it would be a call and then betting the turn as a float move. But yeah, again, without stats, it's damn tough. And we 3-bet it up in position here. Hope to steal the button with that raise. And if this guy mid-stack shoves, one of these mid-stack you shove here, we definitely call everything with ace-king. Given the dead money, the fact that he could be pushing also weaker aces, you're also flipping versus all under pairs. Yeah. Inside straight draw can't be the 4 of spades, but we take a shot to see if we can buy it. Get flatted. Now, again, this is a cool one. So every 4 and every 7, right? So we got a double barrel gut shot here. Very cool, and a lot of people don't see that coming. And we're going to go ahead and double up here on the turn as a continuation of our flop aggression and take it down as a semi-bluff. JJ Dynamite. Raise that up. And that's also steal, guys. Again, steal doesn't mean with a weak hand. It just means a positional raise when it's folded to you and you're in the cutoff or later. And same idea here. Another steal raise here with a 97 suited. We get 3-bet. This guy goes all in, and I'm just going to flat this here one time. You can come over the top, but again, it's a fellow big stacker, and I just want to see what flops. So we flopped the top set, which is just an absolute monster, and there's nothing to protect against. I'm hoping he's on queens or better here, and I just flat. He's out of position, so hopefully he'll haul off again here as a double barrel. He does, and now we can put him all in here on the 2-suited board and say hallelujah. And he should probably show us, yeah, just like we thought. And again, when I flat the 3-bet there with the jacks, I'm basically looking at my jacks as, that call actually is a set mining call. If I don't see, if I flop an overpair jacks, it's super, super dangerous because if he's on queens or better, we're toast. If he's on the ace, king, or queen, it's unlikely that he's going to give us multiple streets of action. Another ace-king. Wow. And sometimes you can also just flat that, guys, especially versus under the gun raisers. But we opt for raising so that we have both what position and initiative. Right, he checks. Let's peel one off. Opt for the delayed c-bet here in position. Make sure he's not trying to suck us in. After 2 checks, guys, especially at the low stakes, you can pretty much count that as a done deal. Double check at the low stakes normally means exactly that, weak. And yeah, I haven't seen much variation from that principle playing here at the storm tables. Interim status report in cash, right at 13 bucks. And yeah, playing on here. Another good thing is too, guys, when you're playing the storm tables, you're gonna have a lot more fold equity when your stack is more than the maximum table buy-in. People are gonna respect that a lot more. They're gonna see that you're winning. There is something to that. You're basically the respect you're gonna get when you're deeper stacked is much greater than when you're smaller or just at 100 big blinds, right? They all know that when you're above 20 bucks, you bought in for the maximum more than likely, and you've gone beyond that. So you're winning at this point. You had a little momentum on your side, and again, yeah, there seems to be more respect in general when you've got the deeper stacks. People are going to respect your bets more. They're going to be more afraid of you. Here we just flat. He auto checks. So he had the check fold button clicked. We bet that. Hope he didn't have it too. And he lets it go. You see, when you see those really snap checks, that's exactly when they click this check or fold button. More than likely. And then you just pretty much bet any 2 on the flop, and you'll take that down quite a lot. Then again, guys, I mean, I'll show you down here. My steals calculator is also, I like it. It's my baby here. Whenever, if you actually are playing with your HUD and you see that your opponents in the big and the small blind are folding respectively 75 and 90% to all steal raises, you can, with a 3.5 x raise, you can basically raise fold versus any 3-bet for positive EV approaching infinity. But then you definitely have to be able to fold. Yeah, so this is also included here. But yeah, unfortunately, again, we're playing statistically blind. It's good fun, but we don't have our stats with us. I'm making a lot of moves, hopefully, that are educational for you guys, stuff that maybe you don't know. I think especially information that we shared with you in the initial videos, the theoretical videos, will definitely be useful for broadening your understanding of the game, and especially showing you how you can get creative with different board textures, different flops, draws, stuff like that. Flop another set here. And we got a fellow deep stack player, so that's real good. And this time, it's probably over with. We'll see. But, damn. I didn't want to just check behind there with the 2-suited board. That's a bit dangerous. Queen, okay. For cheap. And again, wow, we flop, 73 to 1 against guys when you have a non-paired whole cards here, and you flop that. We'll check behind one time. Unfortunately, the 3rd diamond comes, so we're not as excited about our trip queens anymore. But we got the jack as a blocker and potentially a draw. See what he does. Okay, and now we want to raise that up. So we raise one here, small stacker. If he checks, we're going to make a smaller bet because we'll have the same fold equity probably with like 50 cents bet that we would with the full 3 or a push. A bit less, but you don't have to bet very big. Versus these kind of guys after they check. Save your cash, if he check raises us here, then, if we gonna put out a buck, then it's an extra 2 big blinds that we're gonna lose. And we'll probably have a similar result, like I said, betting a bit smaller against fishier, kind of small stack players. Alright, and we're approaching the 1 hour mark here, and actually we're a bit beyond that now. So what we'll try and do is, look for maybe a couple more hands to end the session, and then check out, maybe show you guys a brief overview of the stats there in Hold'em Manager that you guys can definitely look at if you do have that program. Here we got the nut flush draw, and we semi-bluff into that, pick up the ace, which is a good thing. And these guys have, mid stacks here and deep stack. So I'm going to go ahead and bet that again, try and increase the pot and hope for the club. That's unfortunate. It's doubtful that our 10 is going to be good here.